want to base. Crossing Italian coast. Crossing Italian coast. Opposition light. Proceeding to attack.
DNC Mediterranean to units in area Strait of Messina. Close with your target. Close with your target.
For fascist Italy, unhappy junior partner of the Axis powers, the day of reckoning has dawned. And with Mussolini's boasted strongholds crushed beneath the Allied might, the people of the free world are recalling the strange and bitter story which brought this tragic nation to its last and desperate hour. For 3,000 years, this sun-drenched land has been looked upon as the fountainhead of all that colorful, poetic warmth of spirit associated with the Latin world. Still vivid in the memory of thousands of tourists are the golden beaches and the gay cities that once made Italy the land of carnival. And familiar from childhood to millions everywhere are the Italian names that gave birth to the glory of the Renaissance. Giotto, Luini, Raphael, Leonardo and Michelangelo and Botticelli, Dante and Petrarch and Boccaccio, Columbus, Cabot and Amerigo Vespucci. Men whose intellect and vision released Europe from the Dark Ages and opened new realms of conquest for the human mind. Sometimes represented as soft and languorous romantics, the 44 million people of present-day Italy are in fact thrifty and hard-working, many of them subject to the ceaseless toil which the modern world has often meted out to those who are peasants at root and slow-working artisans by inclination. Only in the trattoria, the little restaurant where he can bring his meal or buy it, does the Italian working man become the voluble Latin of story and tradition. We only live once, he says, and here, seeking to forget his long day's work, he spends his leisure with the things he likes best in life: his wine, his friends, his music. For his benefit, the Italian state has subsidized for years the lush, full-throated operas of Verdi, Rossini, Donizetti, dressed in all their gaudy trappings. And though the famous opera houses like La Scala at Milan remain as formal as any in the world, yet in many an Italian city, the curtain rises on an audience which may have paid only a nickel a head to hear the nation's greatest singers.
Se ti ferma, ti piaca, perdona, foglia me quel terribile aspetto, quella giallo da tempo nel petto, quella pizza mi colma d'arrosto.
But all through history, a greater presence has passed before the eyes of every Italian, that of the Church of Rome. For in the city that once conquered Europe by force of arms stands that other eternal city of the Spirit, the 100 acres of stately buildings clustered round the great Basilica of St. Peter's and known as the Holy See of the Vatican. From within the frontiers of this state within a state, surrounded by his own troops, the renowned Swiss and Palatine Guards, the Pope wields an authority through the world which many believe is hardly less decisive now than it was in the Middle Ages. On the great church occasions, the Vatican loudspeakers open their mouths across the roofs of Rome. And then it is that the faithful stand elbow to elbow in the huge colonnaded circle of the Piazza San Pietro, waiting for the moment when the glitter of pikes and the flash of jewels will herald the approach of the Holy Father himself, Pius XII, Pontifex Maximus, 261st successor to the throne of Peter, pronouncing over his 300 million children the blessing Urbe et Orbe, to the eternal city and to all the world. But behind the pomp and splendor, there is another Italy, a land mountainous and barren, to which nature has denied the material riches of the earth. Thus, the Italian farmer, with his meager fields compressed into the narrow valleys, can never hope to feed his 40 million neighbors from his native soil alone. And even on the best land, the broad Roman Campagna and the rich acres of ancient Tuscany, the harvest is often subject to all the hazards of outdated methods and primitive equipment. And in the great industrial triangle of the North, the story of poverty of resources has ever been the same. From these machine shops, from the famous firms of Caproni and Fiat, Ansaldo and Montecatini, have come products admired by engineers the world over for their brilliance of design and performance. But always the freighters unloading in the ports have told their ominous tale of an Italy that was a have-not nation, dependent for her coal on the mines of England, and looking to the rich ore beds of the New World for the metals she did not possess herself. No wonder that with the captains of industry insisting on cheap labor to offset the high cost of imported materials, our working men should everywhere inherit a long tradition of discontent and a strong interest in socialism. And it was this paradox of universal poverty in a land so fair that in the early 20th century drove so many of Italy's most enterprising people to seek a brighter future overseas. To countless Italians, the sight of the great skylines of New York and Montreal have meant a lifelong dream fulfilled, have been the symbol of escape from unrewarding toil and of a better chance ahead. Today, it is said that everyone in Italy has an American relation. For now, one of the largest and most loyal of North America's foreign-descended populations are her 7 millions of Italian extraction. And of these men and women, an American president has said, by their genius for the sciences, by their love for the arts, by their rich sense of life, they have given much to making our country what it is.